Do you believe in werewolves? Can humans transform into wolves and attack other people? This concept exists in many cultures all across the world, and each one has their own take on what a werewolf is. In France and the wider French speaking world, there is a concept of the Loup-Garou. The word itself literally means werewolf, and it describes a human who can willingly change into a wolf. In pre-revolutionary France from the years 1764 to 1767, people in a small region believed they were being attacked by such a creature. This creature caused so much havoc that even the king had to get involved. This is the story of the Beast of Gevaudan. One day in June 1764, a young girl named Jeanne Vallee was tending to her family's cattle in a forest in a region in southwestern France known as the Gevaudan. Suddenly, a large beast came charging at her from the woods. Jeanne later described the beast as like a wolf, yet not a wolf, that it was the size of a donkey. Her dogs became frightened and ran away, but the bulls managed to chase the creature off. Jeanne was shaken by this incident, but she managed to survive and lived to tell her tale. Others would not be so lucky as Jean. Soon, mangled bodies of the shepherds that worked in the area began to turn up all over the region. The victims were of all ages and sexes. Soon after Jean managed to ward off her attacker, the body of a little girl was found with her heart ripped out. All throughout August and September, the beast began to attack groups of men. This showed that it had no sense of fear like common wolves would, and rumors spread through the region that the Loup-Garou was behind the slaughter. On October 8th, two hunters encountered the creature, and they managed to empty several rifle balls into it. The creature limped away, and the hunters assumed it had gone off to die, but a few days later, it was busy killing again. The beast had killed so many people that the wider world soon became aware of what was going on in Gevaudan. Newspapers began to publish reports of what was happening and even had described the beast. The Paris Gazette described it as being higher than a wolf with large talons, reddish hair, and a muzzled shape like a greyhound's. The St. James Chronicle, in 1765, described it as neither a wolf, tiger, nor hyena, but probably a mongrel generated between the last two and forming, as it were, a new species. More on the hyena connection later. Events kept happening in Gevaudan. Two children were attacked and bitten by the beast as older youths poked and slashed at it with knives and pitchforks. Another young man named Jacques Portefeuille and his 7 friends managed to keep it at bay for several hours by sticking it together in defense. Rumors began to circulate through the region that there wasn't just one creature but two that were doing the killings. Because of all of this, the word eventually got all the way to the top to the King Louis XV himself. The king soon dispatched a Captain Nevaeh with a company of dragoons to the Gevaudan. The company was also accompanied by a group of professional hunters. Nevaeh had the bright idea to use some of his men as bait. Believing that the creature was more likely to kill women, he had his men dress up as them to attract it. The men dressed as ladies would go into the countryside and the hunters would lay in wait. The beast would come up and the hunters would shoot at it, but it would always manage to escape. All of a sudden, the killings had abruptly ceased, and Nevaeh reasoned that the beast had gone off to die somewhere. The company of dragoons left, and soon after, the killings and attacks started right back up again. By now, the beast was believed to have supernatural powers, and hysteria began to spread through the region. All through the summer of 1765, children were being slaughtered almost daily, and the creature had even begun to roam openly into the villages. People even claimed that it would peer into their windows in the middle of the night. The situation became serious when people started abandoning their villages and the entire region. The king continued to send his best hunters into the Gevaudan, but the same pattern seemed to persist. The hunters would shoot the beast and watch it limp off before they believed it was dead, and then the killings would start right back up again. Also, throughout this time, 100 wolves were killed, but the hunters could never kill the beasts they were looking for. The king was frustrated that he had spent so much time, effort, and money for nothing. He sent 2 of his best wolf hunters of the time to the Gevaudan to kill it. In September, the pair managed to shoot and kill a large gray wolf. One of the hunters had the wolf stuffed and accompanied the corpse back to the court to the king of Versailles. The other hunters stayed down and tracked down the female partner of the male that was killed and killed her and her 2 pups. The pups were examined and they were shown to have a double pair of dew claws, which was more common to a type of large domestic dog. The two hunters basked in their glory and they were paid a small fortune by the king. This good feeling was not to last as the killings resumed in December. Finally, in June 1767, the local marquis brought together hundreds of hunters and trackers to solve the problem once and for all. The hunters and trackers separated into smaller bands and fanned out all across the Gevaudan region. On June 19th, one of the bands, led by Jean Castel, encountered the beast. Castel had loaded his rifle with silver bullets out of precaution if the beast was indeed a loup-garou. The beast lunged at the Castel and he fired on it twice, with the second shot hitting the animal right in the heart and killing it instantly. The hunters then sliced open the stomach of the creature and, to their horror, found the collarbone of a young girl inside. The Beast of Gevaudan was finally dead after killing 60 people and the French state having spent a fortune trying to kill it. This wasn't quite the end of the story, as the body was paraded all throughout the Gevaudan region. It was then packed up and sent to the king at Versailles. By the time it got there, it had begun to rot. The king then had it buried somewhere in the French countryside. So what was the Beast of Gevaudan? There are many theories, the most obvious theory being that it was a larger than usual wolf attacking people and livestock. Even by the 18th century, wolves had not lost their fear of humans, although most had. Perhaps this was a wolf that simply had no fear of people and thus was more willing to attack them as a source of food or even to defend its young. There are other more interesting theories, however, one being that the beast was some kind of wolf-dog hybrid. This is a possibility if there were more than one beast involved in the killings. Remember the wolves that was killed by the two hunters whose puppies had characteristics more like dogs than wolves? This isn't so far-fetched, as dogs and wolves can now mate with each other and hybrids exist now. One of the other possibilities is that the beast was some kind of hyena. Some have looked at descriptions of the beast and concluded that this animal is a possibility. There is a species of hyena that was once native to Europe, but even by the 18th century they were already gone. This leads us to a sinister conclusion. A nobleman would have the means to bring such an exotic animal to France. Perhaps a nobleman was turning his animal loose on unsuspecting peasants as some perverse form of entertainment. He then allowed it to be killed after his pastime had gone too far. Some even believe that Jean Castel killed his own pet so that he could collect some type of prize money for killing it. We may never know what the Beast of Gevaudan was, but we can be sure that this was an interesting and true story. There is one other possibility, however. Maybe the French peasants that encountered the beast were right about it and what it was all along. A Loup-Garou, or as we know, a werewolf. After all, it was killed by a silver bullet. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think about the beast in the comments. Was it really some type of werewolf, or was it just a dog? Let me know.